Hey, what's up? It's Comic 95, the Savior. So, the infamous word, gaikokujin. Everyone wants to know, is this racist? Is it wrong to call someone a gaijin? This is a very, very, very commonly used word here in Japan, and as you probably already know, it is used to refer to foreigners. The word roughly translates to outside person or outside people, and for that reason it is commonly misunderstood because it is so commonly used, and specifically for those of us who are not Asian in general or of Japanese descent. So first I want to get a few myths out of the way. I heard a lot of people, and I've read that a lot of people believe that Japanese people use this word for two wrong reasons. One of them is, or two incorrect reasons, or for two incorrect groups of people. Let me just get to it. One is people say that Japanese people only call white people gaijin or gaikokujin, which is wrong. I am always called that. I'm never called any other word. People always refer to me as a gaijin, gaikokujin. If I drop something, gaijin-san! That's exactly what they call me. So it's not something that is exclusive for white people. They're not blind. I clearly am not white. Secondly, I've also heard the opposite. People say that gaikokujin or gaijin is used for Chinese people. That is also untrue. Again, there's other words to refer to these groups, but in general, the word gaijin, or gaikokujin is used for everyone, anyone who is not Japanese. This can also go as far and extend into those who are of Japanese descent, but that were not born and are raised in Japan. So, for example, a Japanese American. Keep in mind that Japanese people do not hyphenate their nationality, such as African American, Chinese American. They don't do that whole thing here. I can get into that in another video. You can ask me, email me, whatever, and we can talk about that. So, anyway, as far as gaijin and gaikokujin goes, it just means foreigner. It's their word for foreigner. However, because Japanese culture places so much of an emphasis on being Japanese and Japanese pride, and they have so many rules, so many particular things to their language, to their culture, to their country, the way that they live, they constantly group people in separate categories, per se. And this is the reason why the word is racist and is seen that way. The reason why the word gaijin or gaikokujin is racist isn't because of the word itself, it's the way that it's used. So to put this into perspective, I am a black woman. If you call me a black woman, it's not insulting. But if you're like, oh, the blacks are at it again, now what you just said is racist. And you're probably like, what? Like, how is the blacks racist? You're referring to me in a group. You're putting us all together. You're saying that we're all something. We're all dangerous. We're all whatever. The blacks. The whites. These are prejudice statements. And that's the problem with gaijin or gaikokujin. Another example is, look at the word black in Espanol. Negro. Okay, if you say negro in Espanol, what does that mean? It means black, right? They use the words moreno, morena. Those words all mean brown, black. It refers to dark skin, dark colored hair. It's not meant to be used in a racist way, but I'm no dummy. Of course people do that. But that's not the intention in these words. Negro, specifically being very close to Negro, which is where it was derived from. Even although they are spelled the same way, they sound pretty much the same, they're not the same. In Spanish, this is just their word they use for black. In Japan, gaijin is just their word they use for foreign people. It's a shortened version of gaikokujin. It's not racist. It's not offensive. I can argue that black is a short way of saying African American. The term black is almost exclusively used for those of us who are, Americans that are of African descent. Unlike Africans, we generally have about a quarter of us, which is of European and Asian descent, such as myself. I am not 100% African. I'm almost a quarter white and Asian, which is why I look different than a lot of African people do. I'm still of African descent, and I'm still a black woman, and by calling myself African American, it allows me to have both cultures, the best of both worlds. I am not getting rid of or throwing away the African side of my heritage, but I'm also acknowledging the fact that I am now an American woman, and that this is my culture, this is my country, this is what I am familiar with. So, that's all this is. But getting back on subject, the problem with the term gaijin or gaikokujin is that this is Japanese people's way of isolating themselves and separating themselves from foreigners. And again, I'll go back. It's not the word itself, it's the way that it's used. Saying negro is not offensive. My parents' birth certificate actually says Negro on it. It doesn't say African American or black, like how mine does. because times were different back then. And during that time, it was an okay word to use. That is what black people were referred to as. And really, the word, like I said, Negro, is derived from negro, which is Spanish for saying black or dark or brown. So keep that in mind. So while Japan, of course, doesn't have any history dealing with that, Gaijin is just their way of saying, oh, this person doesn't understand because they're not Japanese. Oh, they're acting, out of hand because they're not Japanese. Oh, these people don't understand this culture. They can't use chopsticks. They can't speak Japanese. This is where it becomes problematic. So it's not so much a matter of, we hate you, all of you all are this. It's a matter of we're all being grouped together. So for example, if one Gaijin messes up something, now we're all thrown together. If something goes wrong, people will assume that it must have been a foreigner. I cannot tell you how many times I've been out with my friends and we see something that is messed up, wrong, or dirty, and they'll laugh and be like, oh, a foreigner must have done that, or like the bathroom might be messy, oh, like it must have been a foreigner. And so I'm like, wait, so you're assuming that it's impossible for a Japanese person to have left crap on the toilet seat. It's impossible for a Japanese person to have left trash on the sidewalk. They do wrong and messed up stuff too. That's the reason why people see these words as being racist. It's because of the context, the way that they're used. The word itself is not racist. What other word are they going to use to say a foreigner? That's their word. We use the word foreigner. We use exchange student and stuff too. The problem is that Japanese people oftentimes use this word to make themselves exclusive and to exclude anyone who is not Japanese. This is also done very in particular with Koreans and Chinese people who were born and raised here in Japan. They are treated as though they are not Japanese, even although this is their culture now, because this is where they were born and raised, all they've ever known. But they're always seen as outside people. So that's another story, but I'm really talking more so about black, white, and Hispanic foreigners, and even other Asians and whatnot. So don't be offended if someone calls you a gaijin or gaikokujin. It's not offensive to call someone that, but it is offensive, and it is technically racist when the term is being used to exclude you from something, to, basically say that you can't understand because you're not one of us. Imagine if in America, every time that, something went wrong, oh, it must have been one of those, must have been one of those foreigners. Like, yeah, those foreigners. Yeah, foreigners don't understand. It's an American thing. So that's basically the problem here in Japan. They have this whole belief that there's so many things that are Japan exclusive that foreigners cannot get, cannot understand. They cannot assimilate. They cannot follow Japanese rules, structure, culture. They can't be Japanese is what they're really getting at. So again, it's not the word gaijin or gaikokujin. It just means foreigner. It's not racist. It's not like calling you a nigger or, speaking down on you or cursing you. But it can be used in an ignorant way. I will also add that when Japanese people do this, they don't see it as racist. They honestly, legitimately are ignorant of this. And what I mean by that is, if you do tell someone hey, that's racist or that's whatever, they'll quickly defend it no, it's not racist. We don't have racism here in Japan. Oh, that's an American problem. And it's yeah, no, you do. And just because you don't mean something, once again, when they say, oh, it must have been a foreigner, they don't mean it in a racist way, but it doesn't change the fact that it is. You're saying that Japanese people are able to do these things better because they are Japanese. You're assuming that because something went wrong, something is dirty, it couldn't have been one of your beloved, fellow Japanese men and women. It must have been a gaikokujin. It must have been a foreigner. That's where the problem sets in. So once again, you don't have to mean to hurt someone to hurt them. I don't have to mean to shoot you to pull the trigger. You're still going to bleed. Are you not bleeding blood? Are you not dying? So it's basically that kind of concept, content, whatever you want to call it. It's a matter of context. It's a matter of how you use it, what the context is. Just being called a gaijin, just being called a gaikokujin, just being called, whatever, is not racist itself. It's when they make statements with it, such as, oh, there's, a lot of whatever. I hear people say there's a lot of gaikokujin all the time. That kind of is unsettling to me, but okay, fine. You're just stating the obvious. There's a lot of foreigners here. Okay, cool. But once you start trying to say, oh, this place is dirty, or oh, it's so noisy because there's so many foreigners. And so it's not that what you're saying is wrong per se. Yeah, I can admit, naturally, because there's a lot of tourists in a certain area, it's probably going to be louder. I can't really explain. You get what I'm saying at this point. So, that's that. I'm done. I can rant and ramble about this forever. So, gaikokujin gaijin is not offensive at all, the word itself. So, gaijin is not racist. but it can be and is commonly used in a way that is made to exclude, to separate, to differentiate, and that is where the problem is. It goes so much more than just saying this person is not Japanese. It becomes, because this person is not Japanese, they cannot do such and such, such and such. Or this is why this is messed up, because they are a silly foreigner. They cannot understand our language. They cannot use chopsticks. They cannot be quiet. They cannot follow the rules. That is where the word becomes racist and offensive. So once again, you don't have to mean something for it to be so. So, what do you think? What is your opinion on the word gaijin and gaikokujin? Do you find it to be offensive and or racist? Do you think the word itself is racist and not just the context that it's being used in? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think down below. If you have any questions about Japan, feel free to email them to me, or again, you can comment them down below. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.